push to protect Canada's most vulnerable from another deadly wave of COVID-19. Across the country, public health authorities say they're making progress in getting vaccines into long-term care facilities. In some regions, officials say there's already proof the inoculations are having an impact.
We've also seen a notable decrease in transmission and outbreaks in long-term care and assisted living facilities as immunization has rolled out. And this is clear evidence of the effectiveness of the vaccines and extremely encouraging news.
For so many Canadian families, the vaccine rollout is too little, too late. According to the National Institute on Aging, more than 14,000 Canadians in long-term care have died of the virus. Of those, more than 7,600 were in Quebec. One of the province's hardest-hit facilities was Herron on Montreal's West Island. Dozens died in horrible conditions. Now, a coroner's inquiry is underway to determine what went so wrong. Mike Armstrong has tonight's top story.
The inquiry started basically with a warning from the coroner. Yann Kamel says the proceedings will be emotional for families who lost loved ones and called for respect. Now, the plan is to begin the inquiry with 3 days looking at the Herron residence in Dorval. 47 people died in the first wave of the pandemic in that one long-term care facility. The conditions inside the coroner calls indecent and inhumane. In those first weeks, the staff was overwhelmed and most left. Residents went for days without being cleaned or properly fed. This social worker volunteered to help and described the chaos inside.
There's a smell in there, and it's a smell of the deceased and of wounds that need to be taken care of.
The goal of the inquiry is to figure out what happened, to understand the mistakes. To do that, it'll have to determine the role COVID-19 played and the role negligence may have played. Lawyer Patrick Martin-Ménard represents 4 of the victims.
A lot has been said, a lot has been written about what has been going on, but this is the first really public proceeding in which we will really be able to ask the key decision makers the questions.
Now, the inquiry was supposed to hear witnesses on day 1. That didn't happen. Instead, it was a day of legal wrangling. The lawyers for the owners of the Herron residence are asking the hearings be delayed or covered by a publication ban. They say there's a criminal investigation underway and their clients may face charges over how the outbreak was handled. If the inquiry goes on, the lawyers say it could be prejudicial against their clients. The coroner suspended and will hand down a decision Tuesday. If it does continue, the inquiry will look at other residences in the coming months. Quebec recently passed 10,000 deaths since the start of the pandemic. About 70% were in long-term care centers. Mike Armstrong, Global News, Montreal.